A French military transport roars across the skies of Europe, carrying not only soldiers and hardware, but a powerful message of vigilance. As the European Union summit convenes in Copenhagen, France has dispatched advanced anti-drone resources to Denmark. The move comes after several days of mysterious drone incursions over Danish territory, incidents that have unsettled local authorities and heightened the security stakes for one of Europe's most closely watched diplomatic gatherings. The images released by the French armed forces and distributed by international press agencies provide a rare inside look at the operation. At an airbase in southern France, the scene is both methodical and urgent. Technicians, ground crews and soldiers move in a well-rehearsed sequence, preparing their aircraft and equipment for rapid deployment. The centerpiece of the mission is a light but highly capable Fennec helicopter, compact enough to be carried by transport aircraft, yet sophisticated enough to perform reconnaissance and, if needed, intercept missions against airborne threats. The footage shows the Fennec being guided carefully toward the yawning cargo bay of a massive A400M military transport. The process is deliberate and precise. Every inch of movement is checked and double-checked, a reminder that moving such valuable equipment requires both skill and discipline. Around the aircraft, groups of soldiers, 35 in total for this mission, stand ready to board, their faces calm, their manner businesslike. For them, this is not a ceremonial deployment, but a real-world operation at a time when European leaders are gathering under the cloud of potential disruption. The camera lingers briefly on individual faces, a soldier tightening the strap of his helmet, another checking the secure fastenings on a crate of anti-drone gear. These fleeting human moments punctuate the otherwise mechanical choreography of loading and preparation. It is a visual reminder that behind every military operation, however technical, there are individuals who carry the responsibility and the weight of the mission. The next sequence of images shifts north to Denmark. The transport aircraft lands at Roskilde, a regional airport near Copenhagen that has become the logistical hub for summit security. Vehicles roll down the ramp, unloading boxes of specialized equipment and protective systems. French soldiers move briskly, accustomed to the rigors of deployment. Their coordination with Danish forces is evident in the orderly exchange taking place on the tarmac, quick briefings, handshakes, gestures pointing toward where each piece of gear needs to go. The Fennec helicopter emerges from the aircraft's cargo hold and is wheeled into position on Danish soil. It sits under the northern sky, rotors still for the moment, but ready to take off at short notice. The sight is as much a reassurance to local authorities as it is a warning to anyone considering testing the summit's security. Alongside the helicopter comes the less dramatic but equally significant array of anti-drone technology. Among them are the portable near-rod-type jammer rifles, devices that resemble futuristic weapons but function as sophisticated electronic shields. These systems can disrupt the control links of unauthorized drones, forcing them to land or return to their operators, thus neutralizing potential threats before they approach sensitive venues. The decision to deploy these assets reflects an evolving security landscape. Drones, once associated primarily with commercial photography or hobbyist flights, have become a recurring challenge for law enforcement and defense agencies worldwide. From reconnaissance in conflict zones to attempts at smuggling or disruption in peacetime cities, the small, relatively cheap unmanned aerial vehicle has changed the equation for high-security events. And with the EU summit attracting heads of state and senior ministers, the risk is not theoretical. French military officials have emphasized that the operation is precautionary but necessary. The intent is not to militarize the summit, but to add a layer of specialized protection in cooperation with Danish authorities. In their words, it is better to be prepared and never need to act than to be caught unprepared in the face of a fast-moving airborne incident. The choice of Roskilde as the staging point is strategic. Located close enough to Copenhagen for quick response, yet outside the immediate urban congestion of the capital, it allows for discreet yet effective positioning of personnel and hardware. The footage of soldiers methodically unloading gear and coordinating with Danish counterparts underscores the professionalism and discipline that modern security operations demand. Beyond the logistics, the images capture the human dimension of Allied cooperation. The quiet discussions between French and Danish soldiers beside the helicopter, the mix of languages heard as plans are synchronized, the sense of shared responsibility for the safety of the leaders arriving for the summit, all these details highlight the collective nature of European security efforts. At the heart of the mission is the recognition that the nature of threats has changed. Traditional perimeters, fences, patrols, guarded checkpoints no longer suffice when potential hazards can approach from the air, small and fast enough to evade conventional detection. In this environment, the partnership between ground patrols, aerial surveillance, and electronic countermeasures becomes essential. The Fennec helicopter plays a pivotal role in this triad. Compact yet agile, it can patrol low-altitude airspace, respond quickly to sightings of suspicious drones, and coordinate with ground teams to neutralize threats. Its presence also serves as a deterrent, signaling that any intrusion will be detected and addressed. The Nearod-type jammers, meanwhile, are a testament to how technology has had to adapt to the new reality. Portable and easy to deploy, they give security teams the ability to respond at the perimeter of summit venues or even further out, denying hostile drones the chance to hover or record sensitive proceedings. This deployment also reflects the wider European concern about hybrid threats, the blend of traditional and non-traditional tactics that adversaries may use to disrupt democratic processes or diplomatic events. In recent years, such threats have included cyber attacks, disinformation campaigns, and covert surveillance. The drone, with its dual civilian and military applications, fits squarely into this evolving picture. For the French armed forces, the Copenhagen mission is part of a broader pattern of readiness. In recent months, they have supported similar protective operations for high-profile events, demonstrating the ability to project not just combat forces, but also specialized security assets on short notice. For Denmark, hosting the summit with enhanced allied protection reinforces the principle that European security is collective and cooperative. The human stories within the operation should not be overlooked. The 35 French soldiers who boarded the transport aircraft back in France are now patrolling alongside Danish personnel, sharing shifts, exchanging information, and building the trust that is vital in joint missions. Their presence serves as a bridge between nations, showing that security is not only about equipment, but also about relationships and shared commitment. As the EU summit proceeds behind closed doors, focusing on issues ranging from climate policy to regional stability and economic recovery, these troops and their equipment remain on quiet watch. Their mission may pass largely unnoticed by the delegates inside the conference halls, but its success is measured precisely by that lack of disruption. The footage, reserved for accredited media outlets, provides more than just a glimpse of military logistics. It offers a window into the realities of contemporary summit security, a layered defense in which technology, personnel, and international cooperation converge to safeguard diplomacy in an age of unpredictable aerial threats. For the public, the images serve as reassurance that preparations have been made. For potential provocateurs, they send a different message, that Europe's leaders meet under the protection of vigilant and well-equipped forces. In the end, the deployment of the Fennec helicopter and anti-drone teams to Denmark is less about displaying power than about projecting readiness. It reflects a Europe attuned to the challenges of new-age security, where threats can be as small as a consumer drone, yet significant enough to demand an international response. As the summit concludes and the delegations depart, the operation will quietly wind down. The equipment will be packed back into the A400M, the soldiers will board their transport for the return to base, and Roskilde Airport will once again become an ordinary regional hub. But the lessons of this deployment, the need for vigilance, the importance of cooperation, and the value of rapid response will continue to inform European security planning for years to come. For now, the French helicopter resting on Danish soil, the rows of portable jammers, and the multinational teams standing side by side are silent but unmistakable symbols of the era we live in, one where diplomacy and security are inextricably linked, and where protecting peace sometimes begins with guarding the skies.